Giddy up, boys and girls. Is that a good start? Welcome to the Miles and Points Report, episode number 48. Getting close to 50 hours of bullshit here. That is not bad. What do you guys think?
I didn't think it would go past five. So.
Right. So since then, we've passed 4,000 subscribers this week, which is unbelievable for us yakking around with what's supposed to be a pandemic gig. I'm here with Marshall Jackson out of the nation's capital today. So last week we had Rudy Maxa and Peter Greenberg. Peter Greenberg comes on 95% of the time he talks. So as opposed to me talking 95% of the time. So I got a break last week. We're also got Jamie Larounis, also from the nation's capital or the suburbs of the nation's capital. Jamie works with us on various projects. And also, pardon?
I said he's a Virginia gentleman.
Virginia gentleman. Okay. Is that like Robert E. Lee?
I'm not going to go there.
It's his neck of the woods where I'm sitting right now. So, yeah.
His neck of the woods, huh? There you have it. I'm not going to lie to you. You guys are only 4 days away from that license plate being history. Did you guys know that? That's one? For a different show.
There's a license plate. Okay.
Right. Well, let's move on to more interesting stuff like what's happening in the world of travel. And in the world of travel, we have seen, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but we haven't really followed a lot. We're back to doing our hotel reviews and stuff, but we've had some interesting ones on our channel this week, Jamie. I did the Hyatt Centric in Murano again, and I did the Park Hyatt Vendôme. And the Churchill and the JW Gross Wiener Square in London. How do you say that, by the way? Gross Wiener?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It is actually not really irrelevant, is it? How the Brits say it. We're calling it Gross Wiener. We're going to start off today. We're Americans. We're Virginia gentlemen and California hippies. That's me. We're going to start off with Southwest having a little bit of an fascinating incident that was published today on the 23rd, and I actually picked it up on Gary's blog this morning. Let me just share the screen so you fellas can see how it looks. Southwest is under investigation after buzzing the LaGuardia Tower within 67 feet of collision. This was on March 23rd, where a Southwest flight from Nashville to LaGuardia encountered severe weather, including wind shear and turbulence, and came within 67 feet of colliding with the EI airports. Gary, are you kidding? That's a nice little typo there. Carrying 147 passengers were forced to abandon its initial landing due to the inclement weather. They went around, tried again, and the second attempt, they were significantly east. And there's a video here on YouTube. I haven't listened to it. You're not aligned. Go around, climb. Sounds like an interesting morning there at LaGuardia.
Very exciting. I haven't listened to the video either. I just heard.
I haven't. It just came up in the feed. I thought it was interesting, but they obviously nothing happened. They went around and 67 feet.
I think they diverted to Baltimore or something, didn't they?
They did divert to Baltimore, where they landed safely 40 minutes later.
Too many close calls lately. That's my.
So the incident marked by turbulence and low visibility led to multiple go-arounds at LaGuardia that day. So they had an interesting morning.
Bouncy.
Yeah, I got a little bouncy, and they were not aligned. But that was.
I'd be curious to know what the winds were and, which direction. But I'm like, you get that far off of the center. I'm surprised they had to be told to go around, to be honest. I would think they would have already have executed that. But,
67 feet is, not that much.
I mean, that one
not in the scheme of things.
No, I mean, yeah, like Jamie said, there has been some close calls, but usually there are safeguards. That seems a little bit too close to comfort, though. But not the most interesting thing to talk about. So we're going to move to the next one. The prodigal Thai prince agrees to pay his credit card debt. So this guy, Washararasarn Wawaswamy. No, that's the other guy. That's Trump's buddy. Is he going to be vice president? That Ramaswamy or whatever it's called, Shawarma. The heir to the throne in Thailand has owed American Express $95,000 that he's owed them since 2023, and he's on a payment plan, but his dad is worth 40 billion bucks. Seems like more of a tough love thing here, right?
Kids these days.
Yeah, you should, and also it's a Centurion card, so obviously the annual fee for that. So what do you think happens? He has the payment plan. Do you think he gets back on track, or and he gets to keep his card, or how does that work?
He had a Centurion card. I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't think they're going to let him keep it.
There you have it. So that is the second thing we have on the list. And then Jamie, you got you made the global headlines in Time Magazine. They didn't make you Time Magazine Man of the Year, though, did they?
No, I think stupid Trump is probably higher on the list than me, unfortunately.
That is unbelievable. But so tell us about this. There is a solar eclipse that happens on April 8th. And the line goes from Texas to Maine. And in order to see it better, you go up to 30,000 feet because, as one does, because, there might be clouds that day. And, that probably doesn't work out too well. So what's the story here, Jamie? Tell us about the flight. What was put together, since you are quoted in this Time article? What is the story? You're doing Delta?
Delta's running 3 of them. 2 of them are out of Austin to Detroit. Those filled up within seconds. Then they added a Dallas to Detroit. And I think that, from what I understand, the Dallas to Detroit one was more publicized. People realized they missed out on the first 2. And then so that Dallas flight was kind of put out there a little bit more. And so that's sort of how I heard about it. And I snagged it. Well, I wouldn't say snag. It's a hefty load of miles. It was about 110,000 Sky miles for first to get a window seat on the left-hand side, which is where
How many?
110 or so, 115,000.
You spent 110,000 miles on this thing.
We're about to see if that's worth it.
Yeah,
that's kind of cheap for Delta.
I mean, so I guess what I understand is that they're filing a special flight plan, but I'm sure everybody else and his brother is going to do the same thing, but they're going to do some sort of turns or whatever up in the sky, so you've got a better vantage point of it, and then 2 hours later it'll land in Detroit. The only way that those 100,000 miles are going to be worth it is if nobody else can see it from the ground. I mean, if it's as cloudy as they're going to say it's going to be, I may be one of the few people that might actually see it from above, but we'll see.
Right. And Southwest is also doing the same thing, right?
I believe so. And there are some of the airlines are also marketing flights that just happen to cross through the eclipse. So I'm sure there's people booked on other flights that just happen to go through it. But obviously the ones from Texas, to Michigan, Ohio, et cetera, are going to follow it, for a good chunk of the way.
So it's on an Airbus 320. Are you on the 220 or the 321?
I believe it's a 321 because they upgauged that Dallas one because there was too many people interested.
One on the 220 and the second one on the 321. So
right.
All right, cool. Here, Jamie Larounis, a travel industry analyst. Yeah, that's who he is going. So yeah, is there gonna be Wi-Fi on the thing so you can stream live, or how does that go?
Delta's got free Wi-Fi. I guess we'll see how good it is. I'm sure everybody else has been doing the same thing, but.
Beautiful. You're going to be on the Twitter or on the TikTok, and we'll keep us posted. We'll follow the flight on the TikTok when it happens. So here we go. We're going to talk a little bit. This is an article. It's a little bit older, but it also came up today. I couldn't find the article where I read it. That it has to do with the premium that Royal Caribbean.
Let's go with Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean. Is that the way they say it in the US and A, or is that the way they say it in the South?
That's the way we say it in rural Eastern North Carolina.
There you go. So it seems to me that the pricing for the next year's sailing are the premium that they're charging for being on this brand new ship is 40 to 60%. And so I guess the allure of a new ship is carrying over for years for schedules. That kind of, Marshall, that kind of seems a little bit surprising to me that it's that much of an allure. How important is it to people, do you think, and for you also to get a brand new ship?
Well, strangely enough, I haven't booked it. I have thought about it. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. And my travel card for cruising is kind of full for the next year or so.
Yeah, you had to postpone the one trip.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't get on it early when the pricing was reasonable. I'm not surprised at the demand. It's, interesting new ship. The Royal Caribbean's kind of known for its ship design and, kind of pushing the envelope, if you will, on new ships. It's not that great to look at, really. It's not aesthetically pleasing, I don't think. But having sailed on a few of the larger ships in the Oasis class, I get the attraction. And there were my first Oasis class cruise was actually 2 weeks back to back, and there were things on that ship that I still didn't see in 2 weeks. And this ship is bigger. Taking advantage of technological advances and just I don't know. It looks awesome. Some people would say it looks awful, but having had the experience of the larger ships like this, the spaces are so well designed, they don't really feel crowded.
Right.
Which is kind of
it's kind of like an Airbus 380.
Yeah.
It's got a face and an outside that only a mama can love. But when you look at all the stuff that it has, the larger it is. And also, it's not that it's like it's really that large. It's just that it's really wide. It's super wide, and it's kind of built out on the side there. And to me, it looks like, what do you got here? You got pickleball courses. You've got various restaurants. You got miniature golf. You've got a ton of pools. You've got, that pool in the front there. Where's the Haven stuff? Is that that's obviously in the front.
I think on this ship, I'm going to say rear and maybe a little.
Maybe it's what we see here. That's on the
name but there's a separate area.
Maybe it's what we see right here, that the dining area for the club. So the club lounge has there's a club lounge in the Haven, or not. It's not called the Haven. It's called something else.
Yeah, that's an NCL thing. I think they just call it suite area or whatever.
Right. But they do have something similar. I thought they came up. They started focusing on that. So I assume that's the pool is in the middle here. And then you have, and then
that's available to everyone.
Right.
I believe it to be adults only, and I think that's called Hideaway or something like that.
Cool.
That it's not just for suites, but there is a suites only area.
Right. Cool. Well, I see that the sunbeds here. I'm sure they are at a premium. So the way that it works, we haven't done the only Caribbean or Royal Caribbean cruise we've taken was with you guys, and it was we did the Haven once, or actually did we do it twice? And then we did the yacht club on MSC, which I found to kind of be a little bit better because MSC had the good food and stuff. But I do know that the separate areas is a way to attract people who really don't want to be with 7,000 of their closest friends, but because
absolutely.
And it doesn't feel like you are on a one of those that it's not that crowded, but of course it has to do with volume and space, right?
Sure.
So how long do you think that? So what they're saying here in the article I read earlier today, that it actually pays off to have brand new ships and new concept. And it is the smartest thing to do because you can charge a massive premium on it. And Royal Caribbean has obviously figured this out. But did you expect it went on sale in 2022? We're now in 2024 and 2025, and stuff are looking at numbers that are still crazy. How long does this work? How long does the newness?
My personal opinion is that lasts until there's more than one of these ships.
Right.
And, is it Star of the Seas, I think, is the next one.
When is that coming?
That I don't know off the top of my head, unfortunately. But
let's look at
the next
Star of the Seas.
Yeah,
Star of the Seas will be the next coming. The name was announced, and it started construction. It's the steel cutting for the ship began on February 15th of 2023. It will enter into service on the 31st of August of 2025.
Yeah.
So over a year.
So I think you've got at least another year of this because there is like a lot of pent up demand. It's surprising even to me for cruising post COVID. And it's people want to try the new stuff and kind of get out there and have a little fun.
I think that what we've seen, and Melinda and I have been scoping up some cruise stuff in the last couple of weeks now to look in various things, and I don't think that demand is as high as they would like for it to be. The ones we saw right now, there are some pretty darn good deals for the summer that's out there. So I would look around. We usually go to the Vacations Togo.
Yeah.
Vacations to Go, which is a website that consolidates last minute stuff. And the next 90 days, there are some serious good deals. So the tip here, I don't know if you want to back me up because you're an expert, but what we do, we go there and we find where the good deals are because those deals are also on the cruise ship's website.
Sure.
So that's how you do it. And then you call you call your guy or gal to book it for you, or you book it. Is that the way you do it too?
That's the way I do it. I subscribe to the Vacations to Go cruise newsletter, check around, and I have a gal, in my case, that we call and book our stuff.
Right.
Take care of it.
Right. And yes, I do. I think that's a solid way to do it. But it's fascinating to see that the value of the ship is obviously, and also you're going on an Edge ship this year.
No, we had to cancel.
That's right. But the Edge ships also has kind of the same type of demand still, even if it's been a while since they've been out there.
They have. They're a good bit smaller than the ship here on the screen, but they still have some attractive features and like the magic carpet on the side with the dining and what have you.
So what's the magic carpet? It's not restaurants that's on outside.
It can be like a lounge area. It can be. They change it. It depends on they could have food out there. There's a bar area. It can also serve as a tender platform when you're in a tender port.
Yeah, so it goes up and down, like an elevator.
Up and down on the side of the ship.
That's cool. All right, we're going to talk about our friends at Croatian Airlines, which is a small airline based out of Croatia. And Jamie, we had a charter on these guys. Was that 2018?
Yeah, before COVID.
Before the COVID, we had a charter on this on 2019. With 2019, we had it, and they have had a small fleet of 5 Airbus. Let's see, they have had a fleet of my goodness, where is it? I just read it. Here we go. Right now they have 5 319s and a 320, and then they got 6 Q400, out of the Dash 8s, which is the last generation, and pretty packed config on these ones for sure. We had the 320 from them for the Star Megadoo in 20, because they're in Star Alliance in 20. Let me think about it. I don't even remember. 2019, I think it was. And they're now switching over to A220s, and they are going to get 6 to. They're starting to get delivery now, and the first plane is June of this year. And they're going to do 6 directly, or they've ordered 6 directly from Airbus, and they're going to lease 9 220s, and 6 of them are the largest model. So they're buying 3 of the largest, and they are leasing 3 of the largest and 3 of the smaller version of the 100. So they're completely getting rid of all the entire fleet that they have now, and will only have Airbus 220s. And so they're kind of strolling in the same direction as Air Baltic has done. What do you think of that plane, Marshall? Are you a fan of it?
The 220, I haven't flown on it, unfortunately. I hear good things about it. Those seats are a little wider, a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I absolutely love it because it has the same config. And I've flown it on Swiss. I've flown it on Air Baltic multiple times. I've flown it on Air Canada and on Delta. They all have them. And I think it's a fabulous airplane. It's very quiet. And it also has the same config as the MD-80 with 2+3. So you can get a 2-seater on it, which is attractive when you're traveling with somebody that you don't have to have a jerk off in the middle seat.
No, exactly. I love that.
So it's also a versatile airplane, perfect size and very efficient, good range and good comfort. So I think this is a good move. You're getting rid of those propellers, and and they're also expanding a little bit, right? Well, actually, they now have, so they're going to have a grand total of 15. So it's just literally replacing 1 for 1, right? Oh, they have 12 now, and they are going to have 15 planes. So that's not a bad gig, to be honest. It's so we're going to see good things from them, and I hope they do. Air Baltic has Thomas Ramdahl from Norwegian Air, the guy who was responsible for their success in the short haul route network. He was the head of sales for Norwegian for a long period of time. He now works for Air Baltic. I hope that Croatia is doing the same thing. I think it'll be a good addition, and also now with SAS leaving Star Alliance at the end of this year is what we're thinking. It'll be a good substitute for that, with them expanding a little bit. All right, we are moving over to Florida, which Brightline, we discussed this last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, where Brightline gave us the numbers that they're selling out their trains. There's no, you have to book weeks in advance in order to get, if you want to.
That's excellent news. I'm really pleased to see that.
Exactly. So they are, if you don't, you now have to book weeks in advance for Friday and Sunday trains, and they're operating the trains that are not full are operating over 80% at this point. And they're started to stop selling tickets or holding back on selling tickets for the shorter route. So from West Palm down to West Palm Beach down to to Miami, Florida, and down the coast, the shorter route, and this is where one of the issues that they have. So what they're reporting. So that's phenomenal news, of course, but they're also have ordered new train sets that are coming into traffic this summer. So they're going to expand significantly with the capacity. But here's also between West Palm Beach and Florida, it's existing track, and so. It goes slowly, and as we have seen, they tend to, Florida men tend to ignore the blinking red lights and gates that are coming down for some odd reason. What is this, Jamie? You've seen this, the various accidents. There's been like a dozen of them.
Yeah, nobody stops at train signals anymore. It's common sense has gone out the window.
Right. And there have been some deaths. So they are doing that. Infrastructure is old. The one that they just opened in September of last year from West Palm Beach into Orlando is new track that they've laid with right-of-way throughout the whole thing. I think it's full right-of-way the whole way. At least it should be. So they can go 125 miles an hour the whole way between there. So here is the major bottleneck is a single track drawbridge over the St. Lucie River in Stuart, Florida, which means that the train is actually stopping, letting boats. So if I was coming there with my sailboat, a full train set with 400 or 500 people would have to stop and wait until I pass, which is kind of crazy. So they are spending. Brightline is investing the majority of the money for this bridge in order to get double tracks, I assume. And to be able to cross this bridge. The design work is complete. They're waiting for a grant. Construction is going to begin in early 2026 and take up to 3 years. News out of California for Brightline West is that we saw this here, the near shovel ready, they said back in September of last year. And since then, we know that the Biden administration and also Congress and Senate has given both of them thumbs up, bipartisan, giving a grant for $2.5 billion to this project, which I think is brilliant. But this is September of last year, near shovel ready, they said. So this is an easy project, right? They're going to build, well, easy in the sense that you don't have to go through complicated areas like the California high-speed rail has to do with the Pacheco Pass and the fault lines and all that stuff. So they're building it like in the median of Highway 15, right, between Vegas and Lake Cucamonga. They also, the reason why they're doing it so fast, it can do it so fast, is because they purchased an old project from, when was that project from? Like the 70s?
Had to be.
It was for those who don't know, there was an old project. I don't remember who was behind it, but it went dormant because they didn't have funding. Brightline purchased the environmental study and all the pre-work and the permits and all that kind of stuff. Well, the majority of it. And so they're going to, this is not the train that they're going to be using, by the way. It's completely different. But it's all electric. It's going to be doing 220 miles an hour, I think. And so they said shovel ready, which wasn't really true. But here we are. And from a month ago, and I've also seen on the news the last couple of days. So what they're pretty much are doing now, they have notified neighbors that the medians and shoulders will be shut down for various things. That they're going to be doing some boring to do studies, to finalize the studies so they can, before they start digging. So they are pretty much shovel ready, which I think is kind of interesting. They're going to start this spring.
Good news.
Yeah, I think so. So it looks like we'll have to see if it's 2028, but I'd like to see progress. All right, so here we have an interesting article came out yesterday, or actually it was on the 30th it came out, but so the 31st it came out. So just making sure that everybody doesn't think that this is an April Fool's joke. But for those who are familiar with Alitalia's Mille Miglia program, which is they were in SkyTeam before they went bust, but belly up, and has been a very unpleasant airline and lots of strikes and all sorts of BS for years, and they've never made money. But and of course, the way to do that is to make them bankrupt and have the government start another airline called ITA Airways. But when they started ITA Airways a few years ago, they were not allowed to own the loyalty program. The loyalty program was already spun off, meaning that they had folded it out, taken it out of the company and started it as a separate company. They weren't allowed to do it. So ITA Airways now has another program, not this program. So this one has been in existence and it has a staff and whatever. Mille Miglia has happened since the Alitalia days, but they don't have an airline or anything to. It's the craziest thing ever. Well, now it is sold, and I saw Ravindra post a link to my buddy Everett DeBoer, who's a really smart guy in the loyalty space, now it's estimation. Ravindra is a competitor of mine, and he's very outspoken about valuation of various loyalty programs, and he thinks that they're grossly overvalued, which has been proven wrong. He's been proven wrong a million times. But here, I think that so what he's saying is pretty probably accurate, that the valuation of Mille Miglia was back in the days $112 million in 2015, back to $23 million when they ended up in bankruptcy. And now, they had in 2023, the program, who is still in existence without an airline, had an operating loss of 6 million euros. So if we were to say a low one-digit million amount, I think they probably went so probably probably, a few million euros, probably 10 million. So they had Mille Miglia had 6.2 million members still, but as you know, and they were bought by Trenitalia, which is the it's the Italian train company, and they were already have 10 million members in their program, a boring program. So hopefully they'll revamp it and kind of try and figure out a smarter idea. But there is probably a massive overlap between these customers, don't you think, Jamie?
Yeah, and I guess I'm kind of confused though. What are they? How did ITA get all those emails and whatever? They got to start from scratch. And
they didn't get any emails. They didn't get anything.
They got nothing. Really?
No. They started the loyalty program from scratch, from what I've gathered. I mean, they might have marketing emails, but nothing related to the loyalty program. It's already spun off. But as you know, airlines have marketing departments that are usually above their loyalty programs. So they probably have some shared access and various things. But, they started a new program. That's it is. And also ITA Airways also has limited membership in SkyTeam. They don't get all of the benefits all the way for that. But well, I'm sure it'll come out. It probably sold for just shy of 10 million euros is probably what I'm expecting it to be. And now it is a part of so the members are Carta Freccia, which means which is the loyalty program that Trenitalia has. So we'll see. Italians running loyalty program. And it's so funny. Did you know that every 5 years, all of the points expired and you had to start over, but you didn't start over. They would renew it. There was some sort of Italian regulation. Crazy stuff going on with that. All right, moving on to the next thing. The Saudis, they're not running out of oil at any given time soon. But there are some crazy projects going on, building projects, luxury projects. As you probably know, everybody been to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt?
Not me.
Jamie?
Nope.
So there is like in the Red Sea, Hurghada is also another swim town. It is known for... You could get, before the pandemic, I don't know how it is now, I'm sure it hasn't changed much, but you could get a Sheraton or a Westin, old for that matter. I think it is a Westin. It's definitely a Sheraton down there for like $30-40 a day and to stay on the coast there. And so it is in Sharm el-Sheikh. And then Hurghada is kind of right across the way. So it's kind of the same climate, if you will. So it is desert climate. It is pretty deserty and not the most lively nature-wise area in the world. But they started a couple of years ago. We heard something about a company called NEOM. And NEOM is owned by the Saudi government, and they wanted to build crazy infrastructure all over the place. And this is not it. It is the regions we have is Sindala is the one that is already in the making. So it is an island off the coast. If we look at the map, it's up here. First of all, it's the middle of nowhere, right? Let me turn on the Google. What is it called? The Google Maps thing, right? I was looking for color, but obviously you're not going to see it because it's all desert. So they literally built this whole thing. The airport, it's called Neom Bay Airport right here. Already built. You got a runway. And I think the last time I took a glance at it, there was like a BBJ and some other junk. Well, here we go. There it is. There's a BBJ parked right there or coming in. Or is it a BBJ? No, that's actually a 737 of some kind. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's obviously this is going to be the way in. This is the way in, right? They're building all sorts of fun stuff. And this island, so they're building a golf club over here. It seems to be. So this is like all desert. This is all starting to take shape. And then they're building the island that we saw here in this picture, Sindala. It looked to me when I looked at the map earlier, Sindala. Where the hell is Sindala? It's one of these islands here. It's maybe one of these. Let's see here. Maybe if I punch in, I have the new Juma. We got to remember that. So let me see here. Bear in mind, here we go. Bear in mind that this was all desert, and these islands were murky as hell, and it was just nothing going on here. And so this is all new. This island and this is super remote, right? There's nothing around it, so it's like Maldives style, kind of. But the goal for this island, as you can see, they're building villas, they're building a harbor, they're building. Also, the golf course, it's already green. Actually, it's already starting to get a little bit dried out there. Everything is being built. Hotels are being built and all that kind of stuff. And so what it's going to be a yacht harbor. It's going to be, world-class restaurants. It's going to be, you can come there with your yacht and park it and things like that. There are sea turtles. There are the infrastructure and the buildings are crazy. They're like crazy stuff. That's one thing. And they're actually building it. And the second thing, I don't want to be too long-winded on this, but the second thing that they're building is something called a line. And the line is a city that is going to be 170 kilometers, so 100 miles long building. So instead of building city blocks and things like that, right? I think there was a video or like a picture. There's a video here of the project. So this is the building. This is the city. It's literally a building that goes that starts in at the ocean and goes 100 miles long building that goes into the country. Let me see if I can find a picture that I found from what they've been doing. And people were like, these guys are not going to do this, right? They're not going to do it. But guess what? They are doing it. They're already doing it already. So if you do, and it's not very far from where this is. The line is what it's called. This city is going to be, here we go. It starts here, and as you can see, they're already digging. And it goes for 100 miles. They are building this line, this building, this city, this first city in the world that this is going to be like this. These guys are building it. Kind of outlandish, and it just keeps going and going and going and going into the desert. And there's going to be millions of people that live in this thing. So this building we're talking about here, it's going to have a high-speed rail in the basement so you can get from one end of it to the next one, and minimum impact. It's going to be completely emission-free. It's going to have businesses in there, and everything is supposed to be walkable, or nobody's going to have a car. And they're building it. These crazy Arabs are building this stuff. It is kind of crazy to say the least. And what came to talk? Did you guys not hear about this at all?
I haven't.
Nope.
First time. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Then the reason I read about it last year, and I looked at I thought there's no way that they're going to build it, but guess what? They are building, and they're also building. This is obviously old. The satellite imagery here is old. They're building here we go. Here's the Ritz-Carlton is opening now. The Ritz-Carlton Nujuma is opening this week, and even further away. We're talking about like literally in the middle of nowhere. So here's where it is. Medina is over here. So for those who are familiar with Mecca down here, you have Medina down here, and that's kind of where the main areas of and then Jeddah is Riyadh is over here, and then Jeddah is where's Jeddah again? It's somewhere. Everything kind of happens around that area. So this this is remote as hell. There's no airport. Actually, there are airports, but it is a desert in the middle of nowhere. And here they figured they're probably going to make a Maldives thing. And the Ritz-Carlton is now open. And Ben wrote about it today. I found the article to be fascinating. Starting June 1st. Actually, it's incorrect. I looked it up and they found availability in May. And they are doing this is a part of this project. They opened the Red Sea Resort, the St. Regis, in the same area, and now the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, which is $2,500 a night. The redemption is here. You go. How many points you need? He said the lowest you could find was 180,000 Bonvoy points.
Oh, wow.
That's the lowest he could find in only one day. How does that work, Jamie? That sounds like that's not a category. That's beyond a category, right?
How many points is that?
180,500 is the lowest he could find.
Is it all inclusive or no?
Probably not, because it's a Ritz-Carlton. So 2,500 a night is the price, and that's the price I found as well. But it's like Maldives style. So you see this island with the overwater villas. The water looks great. I have no competence in saying that it's not. But these are some of these. So the St. Regis is already here and it's already open. Just opened.
Are you going to be able to order a bottle of wine there, for crying out loud?
That is a good question. That is a good question. It must have recently opened because it definitely doesn't look like it's done here. Or if it's done, they don't have a lot of vegetation. So they have villas over here, and then they have villas over here, which looks like a pretty significant distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're still building and stuff. He mentioned what airports it is. Let's see, for people who want to go there. Of course, there are major obstacles to. It's going to be fascinating to see how it develops. I completely agree on that. It is going to be very, 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 very fascinating. You got to fly to. So they see it's unbelievable how many hotels are slated to open in the Red Sea project in the near future. From the Four Seasons to a Rosewood to an Addition to Miraval to a Grand Hyatt, an Intercontinental, and a Fairmont. So obviously the Arabs are building like nobody's business. How to get there? How do you get to the new Maldives? Well, first of all, the last time I was going to Saudi Arabia, the last time it was a pain in the ass getting a visa, but that has changed, hasn't it? I had to have a written invitation from Saudia, the airline I was visiting. They had to do it. Send me a letter. I had to give that to the Saudi consulate, and I had to send my passport out and get a visa and get it back. Is that the way it works now? Does anybody know? Do we have anybody? We only have 6 people on right now. We've been rambling for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does anybody? Did you guys know, Jamie?
No idea.
Right. So it seems like the airport is the Red Sea International Airport. Let's see if we can find that on the map. How far it is. Red Sea International Airport. Hanak. There it is, being built. It doesn't look like this is done either. I see a couple of shop containers here. How the hell are you going to get there? How are you going to get there?
They'll build a road.
Now here's an Airbus landing, so I guess they're doing something. No, these are all renderings, right? See private jets up the yin yang, and which I'm sure is true. A lot of solar panels, which is great. A lot of desert. Here we go. Looks like there's a couple of gentlemen with their ladies. The ladies picking up their bags. Now it looks like it's still under construction. I don't know if it's still open, if it's open or not. But yeah, they're definitely building in the desert there, aren't they? And so it's close by, and I'm sure that they'll have some sort of a port down here where you can get Turtle Bay. So there are turtles around there. I don't know about this area, but other areas, in Oman. There is definitely a lot of sea turtles there. So they're building, but yeah, wow. I don't know if I would want to be the first out of the bag to visit this place. What do you say, Jamie? You want to take a trip?
Let's do it. Mega deal.
I'll let you go and tell me about it.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's kind of insanity, and all these tens of billions and billions of dollars, right? Like so many billions of dollars and being spent here. So we hope that, maybe it'll be, I mean, geography wise, it's a lot closer, right? For us getting to Egypt is reachable. It's not a Maldives situation, right?
Right.
From the East Coast, you could fly to Cairo, or you could fly to Jordan, or you can fly to Qatar and UAE is a little bit further, right? It's a couple of hours extra flight time to get there, and also with the interesting, fascinating air routes you have to take these days. It can be even longer than that, but you could go Jordan, you could go, somewhere in Europe, and it's not a long flight from there. So yes. What else did we want to talk about?
That's it.
I think
we're good to go. Tommy. Well, Jamie, keep us posted. Give us some video from the Delta flight, looking at the what we're looking at, solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse.
Help us get the solar eclipse going.
Sure, the internet's going to break on that flight with everybody doing the same, but I'll text you when I land.
Yeah, I think that it also has, streaming capabilities on board those planes on those internet isn't really that good, and especially if everybody's trying to do it.
Right.
We know we tried that early generations on the Megadu, and that didn't work out at all. But anyways, well, that is the wrap for the 48th episode of the Miles and Points Report. We will see you guys next week, and giddy up. Thank you, guys.
Yep.